play Hello, Thomas Stone High School. I'm so overjoyed to be here today and welcome you all to yet another monthly PTSO meeting. As always, I'm your host, Penny Hart. I am the current outgoing president of the Thomas Stone High School PTSO, joined here by my various board members who are also outgoing board members, since we're all the parents of seniors. Now, I have fantastic news. Thanks to Tammy Daniels, she was able to give me the email address to the John Hanson PTSO. I reached out to them and had said, is there any way Ms. Pearl and I could meet with your board members or get some time on one of your meetings so we could, petition any of your constituents to come and join us over here. And I got an answer back from Mr. Arthur Mata, and he can't say enough about this gentleman. Really super, super nice. So he agreed to meet with me, and I had Ms. Pearl find some time that she was available. He came in, we all met, and he is ready, willing, and able to step right in as I step out. So that is fantastic. Not only that, he's the current president over there at John Hanson, so he already knows what the deal is. He's going to be able to hit the ground running. He is retired military, was with the Navy for 20 some odd years in their K-9 unit, in the military K-9 unit, whatever that deal is. But super, super sweet. I guess his focus now is he's got two girls. He's got one who's going to be an incoming freshman. The other one, I think, is also at John Hanson in like the 6th grade or something. But because he was gone for so many years, he now is focusing on being a, hashtag girl dad, and being very involved, and really wants to be a very active parent and active and involved in everything. So he was excited about the opportunity. I think Ms. Pearl would agree he is going to be a fantastic fit and a really, really nice guy. So he right now volunteers at the what is the center for the VA hospital? He did say that. I can't think of the name. It's the very famous VA.
Walter Reed?
Yes, Walter Reed. So they have a program there for retired military, sort of PTSD kind of thing, and he volunteers there to help other retired military folks. Their current meetings are on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So he's going in now, otherwise he said he would be here right now. He's going to try to get those changed because it's easier to change those so he can physically be here for the rest of the meeting. So we're hopeful that that will happen. At the very least, he'll definitely be able to change it by the time next year rolls around. So what we are going to do is, due to our regular meetings and the attendance that we usually have, we will simply appoint him as I was appointed, and he's interested in the position. We will hold an open election in May for anybody and everybody who may want to be here, but probably the reality of it is we won't get a lot of, people clamoring at the door, but he's ready to step in, and I'm sure he'll be able to talk to his board there. I think he's got the same thing where he can bring some people with him. So that is fantastic news. I think we can check that off the box. Really wonderful guy, and I feel good about passing this on to somebody who is just as invested in the school and everything else as I feel I've been. So that's a good one. That's a nice win for us. Okay, moving on. We've had some questions, rumblings and grumblings about prom. There's a little sort of permeated rumor going around that it has been yanked from Middleton Hall due to lack of funds. What say you, Ms. Pearl?
It is at Middleton Hall.
Okay. I said
if I'm being honest, Middleton Hall is like the cheapest. Personally,
it's so close.
we paid the hefty deposit. So once you invest like over 1,000, we're having it at Middleton. Who's doing these rumblings?
It was,
Go ahead.
the kids were all talking about it, like,
No,
and I'm like,
Middleton.
to go ask you.
Yeah, no, we're at
Go
Middleton.
ask you.
No, I've worked with Miss Mack, is this class sponsor of the junior class, so we've talked about the thing. I don't want to give away their theme,
Sure.
but she started to order things for their theme to get ready for it. She's working on their party favors. She's working on the menu, like she's talking about, I'm not to do meatballs, I'm to, no, I was like, you're gonna do meatballs. So like she's, this is where, yeah, so she's met, I think like it's Chef Kendall at this point. So they're hitting the ball, rolling with that, so.
So everything is everything, just as it should be with that. The rumor was is that the junior class had run out of money and that they were going to have to move it to Thomas Stone for the actual prom.
No.
Yeah.
Good.
So,
We've already paid for that, I mean, we've already.
You've already paid the down payment, so you're good.
okay, wonderful.
And Middleton wanted a lot more, in the years past, they didn't want as much. We've had to pay a considerable amount for it already, so it's more than halfway paid for, so it always has traditionally been at Middleton. The one year that it wasn't, it was like a wedding, it had gotten double booked, and that's when we moved it to JC's, but it just works better for our families.
Yeah.
It brings a lot of peace of mind that they're just right up the road.
Yep.
And if they choose to pick them up, or however that arrangement is, it's just better than having them go into DC and driving down 210
Yeah,
and all that
absolutely.
stuff. They have always chosen as tradition, I know that some people get upset that it's at Middleton, but when you look at venues and far as access, it gives every student the opportunity, because the tickets are already high, they don't have to worry about a ride. It gives them access to be able to go. And it's when the lights kinda go down, and it is a really pretty place to be in. And so it's just about having fun and making a memory, so they'll do that. It's at Middleton.
How much are the tickets? About ballpark?
Last year, they were like 75, that was ballpark last year.
She need any help? Does she have the party favors or anything? Does she?
Nope.
Okay. No.
They did their part, they're the guests this year.
All right, perfect. Well, I didn't believe it for a second.
Me
I
either.
said, Miss Pearl is a member of Middleton Hall. I said, she wouldn't have let that go. I said, no matter what.
We booked it like, before the end of the school year. So we didn't have,
We're talking Middleton Hall,
yeah,
exactly.
cause if you don't, this also their wedding season, so they want guaranteed money.
Yeah,
So we called it in to book it, and then that's when they were like, oh, you want this, you need to pay us this. I'm like, we didn't pay that the year before. So I think it's under new management
It is.
too. So
It is.
things they're a little different, that's
They're
why.
having more activities there.
Yeah, so we had to book it in advance to let them know that they wanted a considerable amount, which is good because for the most part, it's practically paid for, that they
Right.
asked for so much upfront. Cause I know other schools are doing different routes, but Thomas Stone going right up, you're going half a mile away.
all right. That's exactly where we should be. Okay, so, Teacher Appreciation Week obviously is a little ways off, but you know me, I'm a planner. It is, May 4th through May 8th. At this time, everyone will be happy to know, I don't have any plans to be out of town. So, my last hurrah here for that week, I should be, up close and personal. I have, sent out, now, as you know, previously, we would go to Einstein Bagels, and they phenomenally would give us everything they had before. They went out of business. Panera didn't have anything available. You had to put in this written request at least 6 to 8 weeks in advance. We didn't make that cutoff. So I have already gone in and put the request in for Panera. However, they've said that, that neither La Plata nor Waldorf actually participates in that. Right. So I was like, okay, well, whatever, I'm just gonna go straight to corporate and bypass. So I'm not reaching out to anybody there at either one of the places, gone to corporate, I've given them the letter that they've requested with all of the information, so I'm waiting to hear back from that. I'm hopeful that something will come, if not, we're gonna just, work with what we got. I think this year, I'm gonna try for our, little last day breakfast, that we do, continental breakfast, I'm gonna try to do a little bit more, maybe like a hot dish somehow. I'm gonna try to noodle that through. I'm gonna see how much money we have. I'm just gonna go as big as we can go for that. So we'll still be doing the same thing, little things every single day. And then the last day we'll try to do something,
Like hot breakfast is like, you make things?
No, kind of like a grab and go, like maybe a breakfast burrito, but you know what I mean? But then it'll be warm kind of thing, like in a warmer dish. Nothing,
In the lovely gathering.
Okay.
nothing crazy, not like, hot pancakes and sausage and stuff, work with it. I know, because they come in so quickly and have to leave, it's, I would,
But they would come in and then they linger. They like that.
okay, well, I'm fine with that, I mean, you know. Okay, so I'll be working on that, to have something, you know, nice and fantastic, our lovely farewell to everybody.
I mean, do you think it would be too hard to do pancakes if we get griddles? We
If
talked
we
about
get
it
the
before,
little, don't they have the
Well,
shape of-
but like if you do have a griddle,
I have a griddle, I have two griddles.
No, I mean, I have a griddle myself at
I
home,
have
so.
a griddle waffle.
I mean, is
Yeah,
that
we
more economical if we just get the batter, we just, people have cook stations and we just do it, is that cheaper? Is what I'm asking.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, because I mean, you know, I can buy a huge box of, from Sam's, of
How
pancake
hard
batter, all we
everyone
need is
worked that
water.
morning.
I mean,
set
I
up.
think they would enjoy us serving them.
Mm.
And all you gotta do is get the little, we put in the squirt bottles, like mix it all up. That way,
Yeah.
put in the squirt bottles and just squirt it out.
But how many they would all eat breakfast? When you do that, we're talking almost 200
But we
staff
have enough
members.
space that we could do stations, we have a whole counter, 3
I'm
long double
happy
tables.
to do anything, and obviously I'd need, some help with that,
Yeah, we would, admin would help.
so that would be perfect, though.
Well, I guess if like the plan, like that's plan B, if we can't get, what you were
The
suggesting
approval.
from corporate with the bagels and stuff.
Right.
So we would, I guess I could suck it up for the morning.
I mean, I'm obviously still gonna have, you know, the other stuff, like the muffins and the fruit and, you know, juice and that kind of stuff. But I'd love to be able to do
Do
something hot for them. Even if I did the breakfast burritos by getting up that morning, having them in there, putting them in a warmer dish, and then bringing them in here so they could take that, and then, you know.
Can you put waffles in a warmer dish? I don't even know.
As
Yeah, I
long as you
mean-
don't cover them, they'll get soggy.
Right, there's something that gets
Yeah.
soggy, right.
I mean,
I like the idea of doing this, the pancake station.
yeah,
I
pancake
mean, I
breakfast.
have like
It
3
sounds like
serving
four,
pans
yeah.
myself at home that I can, like.
Yeah, I've got the
serving
whole thing
pans.
with the, you know,
Like it comes with 3, but then you have the big, yeah, I have those.
Yeah, I have all of
3.
those. as well. So I absolutely have everything that we would need.
Do you think it would, how, cause I'm telling you, like, how quickly could we crank those pancakes out?
Takes
Very quickly, it doesn't
So
take
we
Super
could
fast.
start, how,
It doesn't take long to.
It's like 3 minutes.
Especially if we have multiple griddles and
Yeah, it's not
multiple
even that long.
quarters.
Yeah.
It won't be.
Alright. Only if that's the route we wanna go, we'll go. I don't think we've ever done anything. I do realize that they do appreciate like a good meal.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, that breakfast, we gave like those little Starbucks pre-packaged cappuccino drinks last year.
Mm-hmm.
And that went such a long way, as just a nice gesture. I don't remember what we were, did we do it this year? Where it was like those little
Well,
frappuccino
those are
drinks?
for new teachers.
But no, there were.
This year, I don't know if last year they were for everyone. Cause I got one.
That's 4 servings. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Putting them in a waffle, because it's the same, well, you add a little oil to the pancake batter, but literally it's almost the same batter. And then, you know, you could do some in a waffle iron, and then I got a waffle iron at home, and then the griddle.
Alright, well, if you want that to be the backup plan, I guess we'll let that be the backup plan.
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay.
That sounds very
What day
encouraging.
is that?
Well, that'll be May 8th then.
May 8th, yes, that would be on the Friday, May 8th.
When do we-
Friday before prom though, isn't it?
I mean, we can change the day to any day you want.
No, it's not a big deal for me.
Okay. Okay. Well, you just need to be
You said
in the morning.
Oh, well, yeah. So that's good, we can do, I think that's good, we do it on the 8th.
Yeah. I think it would be great. Like, I did a bunch of boiled eggs last year, and they were like, oh my God, the protein, great. So they were thrilled with just having boiled eggs and stuff.
You could do, we could do those too.
Oh, yeah, I was definitely gonna bring those back, and then, what's that?
No,
I had a cough, that's all.
Well, you know, you could go in just a little late, my friend.
I don't know nothing about.
Whatever you need to do. We appreciate any and all help.
I would definitely be.
Whatever you're able to do is
We
fine.
welcome you with open arms.
Thank you, I'll be here.
So clearly, we'll just keep, obviously, we'll let you know as soon as I hear back from Panera or whatever the case may be. But I still think being able to do, the pancakes like a hot pancake breakfast would be fantastic. So, and I have a bazillion serving things at home. I throw parties and stuff all the time, so I have a lot of that stuff, warmers,
Yeah,
anything
she
that's.
throws a lot of parties.
Not as big as this one, with the music. We live across the street from each
Oh,
other.
so you're the one who goes out tonight?
Girl, no. Did somebody really?
Yes, trying to tell you in my backyard, yes.
Well, it was a big, it is a big party. Yeah, they put tents up, they got, you know, stuff in the yard, on the side yard, in the backyard. We like, oh, the Daniels are going, we'll just stand in our house, like this, dancing a little bit. But,
Dancing a little bit.
no, you're always like done by like 11.
Yeah, because it comes.
Oh, that's terrible.
No, they've only come one time. I learned my lesson. And it was just music. It was nothing else going on. It
That's
was just
exactly right.
music.
You're very respectful to your neighbors, so. Oh, I'm
Well,
sad.
well, it wasn't this neighbor, you know.
No, wasn't me. We were like, whip it
I
up.
knew who it was though.
That's funny. That is funny. I'd like to know myself who it was. Oh.
They live close to you.
You sure it wasn't the lady next door to me? Cause she's a little sour all
It
the
was either the
time.
one next door or right across.
Oh, it had to be the Van Gordons,
We don't use names here.
the VGs.
No, but you know, when she said the little, you buy the little.
I'm gonna need to test it out.
That's crazy. All right, anyway, moving on, so, PBIS, we all know what that's about, and, we'll just move right on over to Miss Pearl.
I don't really have, I say that, but today I really don't have a lot. Stand behind the. I don't have a lot, I
I'm gonna move
promise.
right out of your way so you can have the spotlight.
I don't need it, but okay. The only big thing that we have right now is we're coming upon post-testing, so you should notice that the kids are gonna be like, I have to get ready, I have to study, so they're taking post-tests in practically all of their subject areas. And we should be done, practically, we're gonna start, I think, next week, and then we will be done by like at the end of the first week
March
in
8th.
March, so about March 7th, we're done. So, please encourage your students to get a good night's sleep, encourage them to eat breakfast. Remember this year, I say it all the time, breakfast is free. So they can buy breakfast starting at 7:15 to 7:30, or second chance breakfast is right after first period, which is about 8:20 to about 8:30 they can buy. So if they, please encourage them to start the day off right and eat a little breakfast, even if it's just a little dry cereal, get that and eat that. Other than the post-testing, I think those are the immediate things, all being senior parents. Lamb sent home an update of kind of all things important from Ms. Rance's perspective as a counselor, so she's working on those last little bits of transcripts, so she's just uploaded, like most of the colleges ask for like the mid-year transcript, so she's working feverishly to make sure all of that documentation is in to get our babies the most out of their, I guess she wants to give them as many opportunities as possible, so if they're still working on college applications, please tell them to get them in. Also from Ms. Ransom's perspective, I think that's the biggest thing. She's working on their transcripts. She's uploaded them to colleges. At this point, if any student has asked to do a letter of recommendation, I know she's done that and she's kind of uploaded them as well. So if they're interested, this is the time to get it in. From Ms. Morton's perspective, we have to kind of document where they're getting accepted. Please tell them to share. As kids share that and they tell me the specific thing, I know like Izzy asked to announce that she got accepted to the honors college at UMD, and so we got another student that got accepted into something called Fire there. I forgot, it's like first year something Lettersmith something, but it was like Fire. It sounded great. So if they're willing to share that, I do share that over the morning announcements as a Cougar Pride moment. Some kids are kind of private with it, some are not, but the class total as of today's date, they're at 11.5 million. Our goal is to get to at least 18 million, and then if you have students that are in Avid has contributed to 2.5 million of that 11 million so far. So we're slowly climbing, we're in double digits with scholarship offers. What's also important is they're getting the scholarship offers, but sometimes with those offers, they have like a due date to respond. We didn't, like, some of the kids don't realize that you only get the money if you go to that school. So if you're gonna, at this point, they really need to be thinking logically about what's the best fit for me? What do I want out of the school? Is travel gonna be important? Is room and board important? Like, they really have to figure out like, what's the best overall fit as they're looking into this last little bit and closing out high school. And then, cause you're all our senior parents, tell them to take a breath and have a little bit of fun along the way. They're down to like 76 days.
Ooh.
They're in the 70s. They don't, how many is it now?
It was 76 last week.
Oh, 76, so they're about maybe like 70 days left. So it comes really quickly, but just.
Don't
Just-
cry.
just keep in mind that, as they're getting closer to the end, to keep checking in with them, how, like, what do you got going on, what are you supposed to do, treat them in the same regard, you're just as involved as if they were kindergartners, even though the level is different, they still need that adult to be minding them and making sure that they're keeping up on the up and up with their due dates, all the requirements. Lamb should be going over real soon, like what they can and can't do, like for graduation, what they can and can't wear. Remember that last year we switched over to all one color gown for the young ladies, so that means that we're doing black dresses, black shoes, and I recommend that they do something with memory foam. It's not, I didn't get the complaints when we did white, because when we were doing white, everybody in Charles County was looking for a white dress underneath. But just keep in mind, like, stores like New York Company, they have those little nice little sundresses. I know they think they're kind of silly, but they're like $14.99, and they have little pockets in them and everything. I'm just saying, a nice little cotton dress, keep you cool underneath your gown. Don't break the bank with that. I tell the young men as they're shopping for prom attire, fine, if they're gonna go with black shoes, cause you need that for graduation as well. Again, something comfortable, something with memory foam, get some use out of it. If you know, they're not used to dressing up, and they're gonna have to make an expensive purchase, make it something comfortable on their feet and they can get multiple wears out of.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
About the men thing. So, the men don't wear under the gown their jacket, their sport jacket, it's just the like shirt and top.
So if it's a young man, they're nothing changed from year to year. So it's basically the white long sleeve shirt.
Mhm.
It's a tie, dark navy blue or black, no bow ties.
Okay.
Black shoes, black socks. And we say black socks because you know how when they sit down, the pants rise up.
Right.
We typically ask for a black belt. Just let me put one more thing in there. If the student identifies as whatever they identify with, that's what they're allowed to wear that,
Mhm.
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I just wanna be politically correct. So if they identify with the other sex, then they just wear what they're comfortable with, because that was the whole rationale with going with the one color gown. I'm starting the conversations with the seniors about like tickets. You're only gonna get 10, so not everybody can come. Every breathing human being, like if it's a 2-month-old baby, it will need a ticket, because when you come through the little turnstile, it's counted. And by fire marshal code, it's bodies, not laps. So they count that as a ticket, so we're first thing in the morning. So we're the first one that Saturday morning. We should be out of there by hopefully like 11:30. Please plan accordingly, because it's bleacher seating. So if you have elderly people, it's not like reserved seating for them. The handicap space, I believe, is at the east side of the gym. It's up on the east side. They go up the one elevator, and it's literally first come, first serve. And the width of this space may be like 2 of those bookshelves, and that's it. So that's where the wheelchairs would go. So the earlier you get there, kind of the better. But just know that you're only gonna be given, you get 10 tickets for actually inside the convocation center, but then you get the 2 for the auxiliary. But just understand, like, if you have that big family that's gonna come in, maybe take like the grandparents, the uncle, but everybody else watches it live stream at home on the channel. I'm just saying, prepare, you're gonna have to prepare family, I'm sorry, because you're only gonna get 10. So some of the students, yes, Ms.
I was gonna say, and also with the auxiliary,
They're only gonna get 2
it's a separate
tickets.
area, so if you're coming with your family of 12, 2 people need to be prepared to understand they're not gonna be sitting in the main area, in the main,
Right.
gym. They're gonna be actually in the inside auditorium watching the live stream.
Right, and the tickets are gonna be color coded, that's how they know. So the 3 colors to our tickets, normally the blue tickets are regular inside the convocation center. The yellow tickets is the auxiliary seating. And then,
The
I
black
think
tickets.
the black tickets are VIP, and I
Yeah.
think officers get, like students that are SJ officers in the top 10 will have the VIP tickets. That's how we've done it in the past. Those are the tickets. Now, just keep in mind that the tickets, the students will not be given the tickets, so they have that day of graduation the week. So on the dress, what day is it? On the day that they do their dress, what do we call that? The dress rehearsal day. That's the day they earn their tickets. So on the first day of graduation practice, if they're clear, because they're gonna bring home like a green sheet or a pink sheet, wherever we're using, and they have to get the clearance sheet by all their teachers, say they don't owe any fines, they done all their work, whatever. They get it filled out, they come to the first day of graduation practice, and that's their ticket to get their cap and gown. And then the graduation practice is typically gonna be like that Wednesday, because there's no school that Friday, because it's graduation's happening, so that Wednesday, they're gonna come in their graduation regalia, and we're going to pin them, like, we pin down the stoles, we pin down anything that needs to be pinned down, it takes a while. It's a lot of people in the gym with needles and pens pinning things and making sure it's right, double checking. If they do not come with that on, they don't get the ticket envelope, and then you still have Thursday to come with it on, and then you get your ticket envelope, because Friday's no school, because all of CCPS is starting their graduations. And then we see them first thing smoking here, probably like 6 in the morning, if not earlier, on Miss Colbert. Yeah, they'll be here 6 in the morning. That's why I'm telling the girls,
They have to get.
my
dressed up.
recommendation is flat shoes and memory foam. Like, don't try to be cute. Like, do the cute and the pictures afterwards. Like, when they see you when we're walking out, just switch shoes with them. But they'll be standing more of that time just waiting, because it just takes a minute to get the kids, 300 kids almost, lined up in alphabetical order. And we literally put them in alphabetical order on the school bus. They come off the school bus, go up the stairs at North Point in alphabetical order, and then they, literally their path is they process down the stairs, outside, around the gym door, to come back in another door in the gym. So I tell the young ladies, do not worry about wearing these high heels. Buy yourself some nice, pretty flat little ballerina shoes that are comfortable. Nobody is gonna care about what's going on down below. They just wanna see that pretty smile with the diploma in your hand and your hair all done up. So that's it. Those are the most pressing things, like as you're shopping, just the black dress underneath, black comfortable shoes. With the young men, black shoes, black socks, black pants, a tie, not a bow tie, white shirt. Cause the dress changing to black, we thought it was gonna be a lot of pushback. It actually was really easy, because everybody still was doing white and we were doing black, so I didn't think they had a hard time finding something dark to wear. And then again, the other rule is, if whatever they identify with is what they wear underneath their gown. And I think that's the gist of senior land. Was there any questions about that you had?
No, but this may be off the record.
Uh-huh.
Do you ever have any students who may not be able to afford the basic black dress?
Yes.
And not with PTSA, but I have a nonprofit organization that may be interested in making a donation.
Okay, yes. I'm just gonna be honest, we make it happen, like, nobody's gonna take their moment away. We just need to know so we can help. I mean, I purchased a prom dress for a little girl. I was supposed to do that, but I did. I went to Ross and she put that prom dress on, she put prom, like $16.99. I had to do what I had to do. So, we have had that, but they all walk. If we know, we work something out. If they wanna walk, they walk.
So do I just give
Let me
you
know.
my information and then you can let us know in time and we can?
Cause I have Miss Carter, who's our PPW. She has a list of who our most neediest kids are, and it's always someone in here in need. So, and then some kids will say, well, they'll just very informally tell you, and we can say, oh, I can help you with that. It always happens around prom time. And Miss Ransom can attest to it, like literally her office and the PPW office, we get people that are donating prom dresses, and literally we're like closing the door and we're like, this is what you can choose from. And so we've had hairdressers come in and donate like their hairstyle. Like they'll come in Saturday, we get in here about like 2:33, and they're doing hair and nails. Like we were literally in the conference room with a couple girls where they were gifting them a hairstyle and nails, and we do it right in the main conference room. And we've been privileged to have like JCPenney's donate the suits for the boys. So not everybody can afford it, but if you want to come and you've worked hard, we do everything possible to try to get the children to have an experience. That's why we try to make it accessible and make it at Middleton. And it, like the year that I had the senior class in 2018, I had 5 sets of twins. For them, like I had to help all but one set. So helping to one family was the mother paid for the young man. The mother paid for the young lady, and then for the young man, we were able to offer the suit. A tailor came in, and we were able to offer a suit to that year. 5 young men had gotten suits, and then last year JCPenney's gave us some donations, and they got their suits from JCPenney's. So we know we try to work things out to make it accessible for everybody. So yeah.
So I'll change gears just a little. The senior class trip that they indicated doesn't look like they've got the,
As of right now, they only have a handful of kids that have paid to go to Williamsburg. So at this rate, because they're gonna have, if we don't have money to pay for busing and stuff, we're
Right.
not gonna be able to take a senior class trip.
So
So-
the picnic that they would do instead, what does that look like? What does that consist of?
So typically, we would probably do it on one of the days the day that they were going on the trip would be the Friday. So we would either do it they get out, their last day is a Wednesday, then the Thursday is practice, and technically the Friday was the trip day. So me and Lamb have discussed the alternative to, if they don't get enough money to go to Williamsburg, then we could potentially do that trip on the Friday, or we would do it on one of the days after practice. So we haven't decided on what that would look like fully, but pretty much at that point, last year, the kids kind of somewhat did their own little thing like that. They wanted that additional piece. So they planned it, and then we allowed them to have little activities with the water guns, as long as they didn't get too crazy, which they didn't. They played, some of them played the little football. They were okay with it.
It was here.
It was here. They wanted an impromptu extra something, so we allowed them a little bit of time. We did it in the front of,
Okay.
we did it right in the front, in the grassy area. We gave them a time period. We let the music go. We had grills out there, so
wow.
they did it up for themselves. When we gave them okay, you got 30 more minutes, you got 15 more, we gave them the countdown. They started to clean up and pack up, and then they took their party somewhere else or whatever they did, because they were done. So we will have to look at how that will work this year, because we were still trying to see if it was gonna be an influx of interest,
Yeah.
and it doesn't look like, it just hasn't revved up to be. So if we can get at least one busload of kids, I think he was still planning on going, but it was just a handful that I last checked that had paid.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, it was maybe 10, but we
I
have
can
to
tell you
give
my
it.
son had 0 interest.
So is it included in the senior dues? or
No,
is
it was extra.
Okay, I
In
missed
years
that.
past, it was included,
Right.
but people.
It was included, but this year it was definitely separate. And I think it was at 125?
Mhm.
Because it was 165 for the regular dues and everything. I think the trip itself, by itself, was all-inclusive at 125.
And see, in years past, we always kept the trip at Hershey Park or Kingston Union, because again, we talked about accessibility.
Yeah.
And when we kept it within the senior dues, we were able, because we can get it in bulk, we can get it in advance, and we can get it, because we're buying so many, we would get things at a discount rate.
Yeah.
In the years past, we were able to give them a senior trip within senior dues for $225, and parents complained. So, and I'm telling you, for $225, we hustled that, because I fed the kids on the bus. I fed them a breakfast on the bus. Is we gave them honey bun and water, something to have in their stomach to get them going, and then they got a meal ticket that they can use at any restaurant in the park throughout the day. Well, they could use it in the day. The Lamb's meal ticket, they got to eat multiple times on it, and then on the way home, we gave them another snack like this on the ride home. And we went to Hershey Park, and even though it wasn't very far, because it wasn't very far, it was accessible,
Yeah.
and it was very affordable, and we could do that. But across the county, I think we had to kind of a la carte things.
Yeah.
And so, but for $225, we were able to do a lot. And when you're not sure, if you're gonna have the numbers,
it's hard to plan in, but we're really at that time where we have to let the contractor know for, the buses have been reserved, but now we have to kind of like give them money.
Right.
So we're gonna have to see where we are in another week or so. Yep. So if they wanna go, please encourage them to let Lamb know, maybe they pay half now and half later, I don't know, we're flexible. And we were with the senior dues when it came to doing the whole amount. They're gonna, I don't know, I think they're gonna enjoy it if they go, but it's hard to convince them because they can't see that.
Yeah, I've talked at length with, young Squire Hart about it. He just is like, no, I'm like, it would be super fun.
They have the
No.
best time.
Yeah,
You see kids that you never see, talking together, and I remember one year we ended up at Hershey Park the same year that Westlake was, and they were our kids, and they were just walking through the park together with their class shirts on, they had their shirts on, and they were just having a great time, and it was just about having fun that day, they didn't really care about anything else. They have so much fun when they're out there, it doesn't matter where they are, they're just together, like one big last time.
yeah.
So if they're gonna pay, I need them to get that money into Lamb as soon as possible, or Mr. Mack, because Mr. Mack is their class sponsor.
So, if in fact it doesn't work out for
Then
that,
we'll do
then
the cookout.
we'll do, and so then will we get like an adjusted amount for like the picnic?
What do you mean an adjusted amount?
So if we were gonna pay 125 to send them on a trip, how?
I
we'll
think
get-
we would refund the 125. If you've already paid and
No,
they're not gonna
so
go.
certainly I haven't paid
Uh-huh.
anything, but I'm just saying, in order to ensure that they have a picnic, would we be like, is it like, I don't know, $50 a person for the picnic,
I
$25
don't,
a
see,
person?
when we did it last year,
The
we,
kids planned it all.
yeah, they planned it because we went on a trip. This is kind of new territory for us.
Ah,
So as much, if I can, remember, they still have money in their class account.
Oh.
So if I can find some money, like, for example, when I did the class of, 2018, I bought the kids Chick-fil-A lunch, one of the days. I did a box lunch for the kids. They had enough money in their account that I could have done, I wasn't about going outside and all that in the heat. But we stayed in the gym, we played the music, and they had a good time in the gym for a few extra moments.
Yeah.
I bought them lunch. So if there's money in their account that we can work with, I can do it that way.
I just know that McDonough, because I happen to know a parent who's got a child, so their, fees did not include a class trip, and it was $115 for like the yearbook, this is kind of the stuff that ours was the $165 for. But then they just were automatically doing a picnic, a class picnic, so there was no trip at all for them.
Oh, they don't plan a trip at all?
No trip at all for them, and I was like, oh, that's interesting, or whatever, but then I didn't know if, like, the picnic thing was a thing, and it was just like a separate lesser charge or
wouldn't,
something like
yeah.
that.
Yeah, as of right now, we were still planning on them taking the trip.
Right.
We're used to our kids paying things super late.
Yeah.
So we were still holding out like that we were still gonna do the trip. So I will make sure we solidify that by the end of next week so that you guys can know how to plan.
Sure.
But it is what it is. We're gonna make sure they have a fun last week, but
Yeah.
I will ask where we are with how many kids have given money, contributed to the class trip.
Okay.
The trip is a lot of fun, but I can't make people pay. Once I have it.
I
Well,
knew
what
that the
did-
dues was really low, but I just.
It's okay, you can still pay. It's okay. And,
Well, she only has 1 foot, I hope she's okay with it.
oh, she'll be okay with it.
She has a scooter now, she's mobile.
She be moving too.
I asked her every day, when are you gonna scooter? Like next week.
And it came Saturday, she was so excited.
She was scooting around today, just.
Mhm.
That's right, I saw her dad putting it in the back of her car in the morning before school, so she could get ready to roll on
When she
through.
was on the crutches though, it was like, she looked like, it was just like, am I ever gonna get there? She was coming down the hallway.
No, and at the end of the day, I saw her coming home, you know, they have a kind of a steep incline to get up, and it was the end of the day, and she had to stop and take a break for a
I'm
minute.
telling you, she was
I
like.
felt
in
like
the
coming over and
200
helping her. I
hallway,
was
And
like-
you could just see her coming down, and she just was like, am I ever gonna be at the end of that hallway? Am I ever gonna get there? I was trying not to laugh, but it was just, she just looked at so like the little engine that
I
could.
know.
It was like she was.
Poor little baby.
Oh, we're not talking about that, we supposed to. Okay, I'm done.
Us too, that's it, thank you so much. Love, love.